Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. For today's Lager Series episode, we say Helles yeah, as we get ready to talk Helles style lagers. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. That one wasn't too bad.
I just like that you opened it up, you looked at it, you went, what am I saying today?
Yeah.
And then you looked at it and you went, okay. There was a deep breath / sigh, and then it was just like acceptance. You went through all the stages of grief.
I did.
I
literally did.
Okay.
I accepted my fate and I went with it. I'm not wearing an appropriate t-shirt, I realised today. I've got Vault City on, which is not useful when we're doing a lager episode.
Also, I don't think I've got... I was going to say, I don't think I've got too many other, like, lager appropriate shirts other than my Braybook, which
I could wear my Braybook, because I'm worn it. I wore my Budvar one, but yeah.
I'm not sure what else I can wear. I'll have to think about that. So instead, I've just got my double-barreled on. But it's also United by Beer, so the back's got like a forklift certified on it.
I like that one.
Certified, so just FYI in case everyone's wondering,
I've got my tie. Just putting that out there.
I just want you to know, if you go, shit, I need a forklift driver, it's not going to be me, despite all my t-shirts.
Tori is not your person.
It's not the one. Not the one.
She's not the one. She's not the one.
Right.
So today we're not driving forklifts. We are instead talking about Helles, Munich Helles, and Helles style lagers. That's what we're going to talk about. We've got a classic, we've got a craft, we've got a variant, and we've got a hotness. Do with that as you will, dear listeners.
People are sat there going like,
what?
Hotness lager. What is that? Well, it will all become
It'll become clear. It'll become clear. Have a guess, listeners, as we mosey on down the road.
I'm just saying, I've got a feeling some people wouldn't even be able to guess because they go, I can think of hotness, but it doesn't really compute with lager. That's
it's
all
true.
I'll say.
It's true. Right, so we're second episode in our lager series for you today.
I wasn't even gonna say that because I thought in case you swap the orders they go out in, but that makes it even funnier.
This is going to be the second one. This is the order that I'm going to do this in. I've decided. I've committed this to it. This is our second one. Second one, we're doing Helles for you today. All right, we're going to start with our. So we'll start with our classic version. Oh, what glass have you got today?
Why are you going to call me out like that?
Because I
just went boring as fuck.
Yeah, cool. Tasting glasses. I mean, I've got tasting glasses.
Because I really overloaded myself last time on the glassware that then had to be cleaned up afterwards because I just got like too many tiny jugs, and then I was like, and one big one, and I was like, great.
I just don't have enough lager glassware, I think, is the problem.
I don't think I do either. That's the thing. Is like, what do you deem lager glassware?
Well, so obviously a Mars or a Stein if it's made out of stone.
I can't not laugh every time.
I've grabbed for this one. I've got a Willy Betcher, which is those nice kind of slightly curved pint glasses that you get nice craft lager in. So I've got a Willy Betcher.
I do have a bunch of those, and now I feel like I should grab one.
I mean, if you want to, I literally unpacked this at the weekend, and I was like, "Aha! Got a Willy Betcher over there."
I'm going to do it. Hang on.
She's getting hers. So I have looked up what glass you should generally use for a Helles. My research says a Pilsner glass, which I think is hilarious. So if there's a particular glass that you like to use for your Helles, ladies and gents and folks that are listening, let us know. But my research said a Pilsner glass. So a Pilsner glass is one of those, it's skinny at the bottom and then kind of flares out a little bit. It's quite tall and long. It's got a little foot on the bottom. That's a really, that's no, not that one.
So it doesn't have the groove. This one doesn't have the groove.
Yeah, it's got the little foot on the bottom. So that's a Pilsner glass. There's Willy Becher, there's a Mars. It's not that many lager glasses, really, because you're just supposed to drink it. Like, it's meant for drinking in quantity.
Maybe that's it, though. Maybe it doesn't matter your glassware, just drink it.
Drink it out of the glass that you love. I've just been watching a TV series, actually.
All day,
Yeah, I've been watching a TV series. It's a reality TV series, because I've been watching it with the other half. And I was very excited because, like, they don't obviously give anybody, like, the branded bottles and things because they can't for advertising. But I've noticed that in this one, every time they give them a beer, it's not like they haven't given them, like, pint glasses or anything for beer. Like, it's often in a stemmed glass. And I was like, I like this. I like that there's a move to putting beers in stemmed glassware. Like, they're obviously, like, cocktail glasses or wine glasses.
Well, I was going to say, is that
like,
to
it's
save
not
on
a techie.
glassware so that it doesn't
Quite possibly.
matter if you're having a wine or a beer. You just
but, like,
the
the people are drinking the beer out of them, and I was like, I am for this. 100%. Yeah.
Love it.
Right. We're going to start with our classic version. We have got Augustiner Helles, made in Munich, lager beer. Also, it's got on the label. I
cannot read lager beer. It makes me chuckle every time because I think of a Mitchell and Webb sketch. Okay. That's basically like, oh, this is not even funny to anyone but me. But it's basically like David Mitchell's character goes in and he's just a very like normal dude, and he goes into this corner shop and he's just like, oh, I've come in to buy a newspaper and an apple, and then he's like, oh, how much is that going to be? And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have one of your lager beers. And the guy goes, oh, there's this one, and he goes, oh, that seems to have the highest alcohol content, the lowest price point. I'll take that then. And then he goes, how much is all of this? And then he gives him a price, and he goes, oh, well, I can't afford the newspaper, the apple, and the lager beer, so I am quite thirsty. I'll just take the beer. I
mean, logical.
Okay. And then he goes, I am quite tired. He goes, please go have a nap outside on the front steps. And he goes, I think I'll do that. And then he's like, I'll see you again tomorrow. He's like, see you tomorrow. But it's just like the way that he goes, I will have your finest lager beer, please. It just makes me chuckle every time. So every time I see lager beer, that's what
you think of that.
I think of David Mitchell being like a low-key alcoholic going in a corner shop, and
not that low-key.
David Mitchell being how he is like, that's just even funnier. But yeah, that was just the dumbest story, but I look at that and I chuckle, and that's why I'm chuckling.
Amazing. So this is a classic. I think people tend to go for Augustiner Pils more, don't they? But the German Pils is quite popular.
Yeah, I think when I tend to have them, I do go for the Helles, but
I do. But that's because
pretty. If you were to poll people, I would reckon it might actually be fairly like 50-50. I don't. That's interesting. I didn't think about that before.
Yeah. I think my favourite German Helles, though, is Paulana.
Oh, it's difficult because I feel like I don't know if I could pick a favourite. I feel like Oktoberfest, I love Oktoberfest season because then I feel like it's an excuse for me to buy...
Just get all the lagers.
All the beers. Yeah, and I just feel like I love them all. I just love them
equally.
All because it just
they're
makes
all your beer children.
They are a little bit, yeah, and like, you know how you're like, oh, I don't love any more than another, but in a certain moment you definitely do. Like certain moments I might love one more than the other, but I'll never say that out loud. But yeah, I feel like the taste of it just makes me feel like holiday. I don't know, it just makes you feel like I'm having fun on holiday at an event like that. So yeah, I don't think I could pick a favourite, if I'm honest.
Is that lager in general or particularly Helles?
I think it's kind of like just German lagers, more so specific. I mean, I guess there's also like, as we've done Czech Pils, like I do quite like Czech Pils as well, but I think it is like more specifically, I find it harder to differentiate which ones are my favourite and which ones are not when it comes to German lagers. Across the world, it doesn't have to be Helles specifically.
Just
like it all.
Just like some more.
Smoked ones.
Or
non-smoked ones.
We'll circle back to smoked ones one day. Right, we'll come back to that. But we'll do the clean, crispy boys right now. Right, let's crack this open because we keep talking about it.
We've had a long day.
Yeah, haven't we always?
Ah! Just dropped my cap on me. Look at that. Look at the head on that.
I'm just pouring all of mine. Look at that. Ta-da.
Last time we were talking about how we were really struggling to get like a thick enough head. I've
Yeah,
got a nice old
this one's poured
3D.
beautifully. It's got loads of carbonation bubbles in it.
So for me, it's like, yeah, there's a lot, but they're like specific sections of bubbles. Like there's not actually a lot. There's a few groups, and they're very small, and they are moving quite quickly.
Yeah, so this glass has actually got like a spiral pattern inside it, and I think that's releasing the bubbles quite quickly in mine. It's got a nice head though. Alright.
Oh, yes. Oh, mama.
It's got that lovely grainy, like bready. Yeah.
The bready maltiness is my favourite. It's my weakness.
That is your
favourite.
favourite.
That's also like, that is why, genuinely why I love wort so much, is because you get that like malty breadiness, and like I don't care. Like people think that is so weird. There's so many people that
It's not that weird.
So weird that not whiskey and wort. I've never had that. I'm sure that's fantastic, but I've never had that. But like people do tend to find it really weird that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just drink wort. Like it's not like I'm going into a bar and being like,
excuse me, can I please have some wort?
Like, I'm not getting like historically accurate or something, like reenactments or something. I'm just like, if somebody's brewing something, like who wants to try it? I'm like, hell yeah, because I love it. And people seem to think that's weird.
It's just really sweet and cereally.
I love it. I love that cereally bit, that maltiness.
Yeah.
Ooh,
this has got a bit of like floral and lemony in there as well.
I was gonna say there is like that lemony note.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I like that.
It like balances out some of that.
Right, are we sipping, or do you want to know what it's supposed to be like first?
Oh yeah, tell me before I sip it, because I don't want to.
Right, so its appearance, according to BJCP style guidelines under Munich Helles, should be medium yellow to pale gold. Yep.
Check. Helles, yeah.
Clear, and a persistent creamy white head, definitely.
So my head's kind of gone away now.
Oh no, mine's still. Look at mine. It's still pillowy up the top there. We should get on the aroma a grainy sweet malt aroma. Yup. Low to moderately low spicy floral or herbal hop notes. Can't say that today. Clean. The aroma should be clean from the lager yeast. So you're not going to get like fruity esters or spicy phenols, because your lager yeast does not do that. And the malt should be dominant. Definitely.
I would, yeah. Spot
on. Then for your flavour, which we haven't got to yet. Ooh, drum roll. Moderate grainy sweet malt, a soft rounded mouthfeel, supporting low to medium low hop bitterness, low to moderately low spicy floral or herbal hop flavour, a soft dry finish, no residual sweetness, that's why it's a crispy boy, and a clean fermentation profile. A mouthfeel, medium bodied, medium carbonation, and well lagered character. Go. Oh yeah.
I dove in. Oh, I love it so much. I could drink this in quantity. So much.
That's what it's designed for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
ABV 5.2.
I feel like that feels about right though,
yeah.
To be fair. Like it doesn't taste much more than that, but equally I mean, I guess it could, if you told me it was slightly less than that, say maybe. Yeah, I believe that, but not by much.
Yeah. It's definitely like, it's got that lovely grainy maltiness to it. It's rounded. It's easy drinking. It's got that dry finish.
I was going to say, there's that, like, right at the end, there's that bit of dryness as well, which makes you go like,
oh, I want a bit more.
I'll just have another sip.
Just another. Have that with some snacks.
Like a salty pretzel. I want salty pretzels.
Oh, always the best. So that is your Munich Helles. Your Augustiner Brew one is your classic example. Ticks all the boxes, yeah?
It does. I would say it definitely does. I feel like I could just sit and drink this all. So I think, like, when we talk about sort of the last episode, we had those, like, Czech Pils, and it was very much like, oh, you know, meant to drink those in quantity as well.
Yeah.
But I actually found, like, sometimes it would just be a little bit more filling, so I find, like, that would be harder to drink, like, in quantity, whereas this, I feel like I don't have that same level of, like, gassiness to it. That is making me feel bloated.
It's that little bit of butteriness as well, makes it fuller. So it just, whereas this is just, it's got that lovely softness so that you can drink a lot of it.
It just makes me want to, like, go out and be social, which is very rare. It's like, almost as if I didn't say it.
Almost as if I didn't. Do you want me to edit that out?
No. You can keep that in there. I said it makes me feel like I want to be social.
Didn't say you were going to be.
I didn't say I was going to be. I feel like my social meter today would be done. I would arrive and I'd go, oh, thank you, and then I'd have a sip, and then I'd go, oh, goodbye.
Goodbye. Do you want to know a little bit of history of the Helles?
Let's go.
So, Helles is from the Bavaria region of Germany, and it's thought that Bavaria has had lager beer since 1500s. So lager and ale are different because of the yeasts that are used to create them. As we said before, these terms aren't necessarily used anymore, but a lager is bottom fermenting, so it ferments at a lower temperature, and ales are top fermenting, so they ferment at a higher temperature. Ales generally ferment quicker than lagers, and back in, you know, the 1500s in Bavaria, when they were making these beers, they didn't know about yeast, and they didn't know that there was two different types. What they did know is that by storing the beer at cold temperatures for a long time gave them a crisp cold beer. So these beers would, like, be stored in cold caves. There would even be times where they would go and harvest ice in the winter from lakes and bring it to the caves so that they could brew and they could store the beer over in the warmer months. But if you don't know, lager, the word, actually means to store. That is hence why it's called lager beer, because it's a beer that they stored. So new paler beers were being produced in Britain with paler malts, and Bavarian brewers wanted to know what that was all about. There were two breweries that wanted to find out what was going on in Britain. Spaten in Munich and Klein Schwert in Vienna sent their young brewers, Gabriel Sedelmeier and Anton Dreyer, over to Britain to investigate. Now, there's a bunch of stories about Sedelmeier and Dreyer coming over to the UK. They'd read a brewing book. They went and found the author of this book and was just like, we love your book, like, teach us more about brewing. And right, and the guy was like, and the guy was like, okay, like, and they went around different breweries and they visited these breweries. Now, my favourite story about them, you know, how historically accurate this is, don't at me about it, but it's in all the books, is that when they went to visit UK, like, British breweries, probably English breweries, they would take a walking stick with them that was hollow, and it would have a little mechanism in it, and when no one was looking they could stick it in like the fermenters and things and suck up a bit of the beer and take it back with them so they could analyse it and work out what was happening in it. Yeah, they were thieves. Thieves, absolute thieves. So they,
you know what,
did all this research,
the
right?
ingenuity that went into creating a walking stick. But also, can I just say what my brain went to first?
Yeah.
Was like, how filthy was that walking stick?
Right.
And you've just dipped
it in beer, right? Pre-sanitisation and
That's
real
horrific.
cleanliness, people.
Although, okay, there you go. You get hard beer now.
Right. This is what you get, Britain, for drinking warm beer. The Germans going to come and stick their walking sticks in it. So they gained all this knowledge by their trip to the UK. They came back. They had all this new malting techniques that they were going to use, and that allowed the Bavarian brewers to create lighter malts. But they did that, but they were still producing copper-coloured beers. Because you remember, like, back in the day, a lot of the beer would probably have been brown because of the way the malts were being made. Like, it wasn't until technology moved on that we started to make the really, really dark malts and the really, really pale malts. The Bavarian brewers at this time just still, even with that knowledge, were making kind of copper-coloured beers. Meanwhile, going back to our Czech Pilsner days, over in Bohemia, Joseph Grohl was in Pilsen and he was developing Czech Pilsner, and he used pale Pilsner malt to create that beer. He brought new malting techniques with him over to Bohemia, and though that style of beer was then really popular because it was really bright, it's a really lovely colour, like people started to want to drink this type of beer in Bavaria. So back in Spartan, Gabriel Sedelmeier had taken over the brewery from his father, and he was really driven by innovation. It's believed that they were the first brewery to install refrigeration in their brewery in the 1870s. So he felt that he needed to respond to the incoming Pilsner invasion from Pilsen. So in 1894, Spartan released a golden lager that has now come to be known as Helles. Now Helles means bright or light. So when you're looking at these beers, you can see that they are just completely clear, really bright, as brewers call it, when it's really clear like that, and their colour is really light. So compared to the other beers that were around at the time, this was a brilliant description, and so Helles is what they became known as. They were often brewed in Munich, so they're referred to as Munich Helles. And that is the history of your Helles for you. Ta-da!
I find it really interesting how, like, the descriptions of, like, how you would refer to a beer back in the day is so different to, like just thinking about what I mean is, like, the sense of when you go, oh, here's your bitter.
Right.
But
how,
it's
like how many
back
beers...
Back in the day, it was, like, more bitter. But
yeah. Like, how many beers have been driven by... like the style name or the beer name has been driven by what the consumer called it, because they were just like that beer
at the time,
that beer is more bitter than the other beer, so I want the bitter one. As people now go, oh, bitter, but it's not as bitter as, you know, West Coast or whatever. Well, no, but it was bitter. It was more bitter than a porter. So but
it's just like it's really interesting just how, like, there's just, you know, you kind of say, like, oh, it's a bright, and you go, okay, well, that's the meaning for that in terms of beer is this, and it's just really interesting of, like, there's all these historical sort of ways that people have described a beer or talked about a beer, and it's like, oh yeah, well, we've made so much, I don't want to say progress in terms of beer, because it's not like all of a sudden we've moved on from something, but just in the sense of, like, there's so much more variation now that it's just funny to think of something that's, you know, using the bitter example, it's like there's things that are far more bitter now.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the name it's got now. Like,
well, it's like Gers.
Interesting.
Gers is called Gers because it was made on Gerstenstraat, and they people wanted the Gers lambic. So it then ended up that, you know, people are lazy, got shortened to Gers.
There's something to be said for laziness though, because like at least, can you imagine if we had to like walk around calling it, I would like a lager beer please. Just,
I mean, you'd just giggle every time.
I would giggle every time. Yeah. Your finest I would love that actually. So your finest lager beer please. And then I'd chuckle. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a mystery. I've drank this before, enjoyed it before, enjoy it now. I could drink it in quantity. Quite frankly, I've already topped up once and I'm nearly emptying the glass. So I'm doing
pretty
my
far
best.
Down mine, actually, considering.
I'm about halfway through the bottle. Probably more than halfway through the bottle, and I'm trying my best to save it because I'm like, I want to be able to go back to that, because I did feel like, in terms of the description, everything, like it does match that description, so I'm like, I want to keep that there as a baseline.
Definitely.
It's just so good.
Augustiner Helles
really
is
good.
Definitely your baseline. It's a good baseline to have.
I have legitimately never gone to Munich before, and I'm like, I just want to go. I've never gone to Germany, I don't think, full stop.
You've not been to Germany at all?
No. I had this conversation with Rick the other day.
Yeah.
About how I said to him, I was like, I feel like this is like first world problems. As I was like, I just feel like we need to go to Europe more. Like, we've barely gone to Europe. Like, I feel like I've barely been anywhere. And then he proceeded to be
barely been anywhere.
Oh, cool. Like, remember the time we went there? And there. And there. And there. And there. And no shade to Americans, but he was full on like...
Did you forget that some of it was in Europe?
No, not at all. But I was going to say, no shade to Americans, but he full on was like, you've gone more place than most, like, Americans have gone.
I mean, that's true. Like,
it's not wrong.
That's a statistical fact.
But I was like, but I've never gone to this place. And he's like... He reminded me of places that I'd even forgot that I'd gone, because I focused on the places I hadn't gone, like Germany. I was like, we've never gone to Germany and I really want to go to Germany. But he's like, you've gone to Belgium, you've gone to like the Netherlands, you've gone to Italy, you've gone to Greece, you've gone to Turkey. And I was like, well, he's like, we've gone to Turkey. I was like, well, I went to Turkey for a wedding. And he's like,
you still went there?
I was like, but it's not the same, it was a weekend, and it was just like the most first world problems.
Amazing.
Like, I was just like, but I haven't gone to like this, I haven't gone to Denmark or Sweden. It's just like, oh my god, like, you've been to Japan twice. And I was like, it's not good enough. I like travelling too much, and I feel like there's so many places. I do feel similarly to like with London, I feel like being where we are, bearing in mind travel has become more difficult over not even just COVID years, but Brexit years and everything else. It has become more expensive and more difficult to do it, but it almost feels like sometimes you just take it for granted, because you're like, I could get on a flight and I could get there in an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and you just kind of don't think about it. And I'm like, and obviously we have the dog, which is a responsibility, but I'm like, but there's so many good German beers I want to drink. And that's where my brain goes, as I was like, but what about all the German breweries that I've not gone to yet? And he's just like rolling eyes at me. I'm like,
that's brilliant.
I never get to go anywhere.
She never gets to go anywhere. You heard it here first.
Never get to go anywhere.
Right, I think we need to compare a craft beer to the baseline German version.
Let's get our next one out.
So our craft version is from Pils. They exclusively make lagers. I think I can say that. Almost entirely make lagers. I think is a better.
I think it's mostly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say exclusively because I'm not 100% sure.
I feel like they've done something like a cold IPA or something like that.
Well,
Brew just did a cold IPA.
Would you consider... Is an Eisbach...
That's a lager.
Yeah, so is that... I was going to say, is that how they've done it? Okay, fair. There you go, that's something that I was like, I didn't know how that was categorised. That's interesting, because I don't think I would have instinctively thought that was a lager every day.
Yeah, because it's a bock.
So, okay, there's that.
It's an ice distilled bock, and a bock is a lager.
Yeah, I just didn't really put that together. Because I think when you say ice bock, I was like, is that... You know how, like, sometimes you have something that sounds similar to something and you're like, oh, no, it's not that at all?
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, maybe. I'm looking it up now. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that the majority...
Predominantly lager.
If not all of it, yeah. I do know that they are known as a lager brewery, but I don't want to, like... Because, you know, there'll be somebody that's like, there was that one time they collaborated on something that wasn't a lager. It's
fine.
We need to be more hard-lined and go, like, yes, it's a lager brewery.
Yeah. The Helles, I believe, is in their core range.
It is, yeah.
I really like their labels.
I love their labels, and I love their, like, little stubby bottles.
Yeah, I like their little stubby bottles.
They make me think of, like, when I was in the US and I'd go to, like, me and my sister would have barbecues and we'd get the Red Stripe, and then the Red Stripe would come in, like, little stubby bottles, that sort of... It's, like, positive memories.
Nostalgic.
And I think about it as in, like, barbecue beer, which is, I guess this sort of is as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
you can have it out in the sun while enjoying a barbecue, but, like, sunny weather barbecue beers makes me think of the Red Stripe.
It does say on the label, home of lager since 2016. So I think we're safe. Well,
I was going to say, I think we were going to take that hard-line approach of it's definitely, and then, like, the imposter syndrome kicked in. It's like, but people correct us if we're slightly wrong. So.
Oh, this has got tasting notes on the label.
Yeah.
So it says, traditional Munich Helles with New World hops, a golden lager with clean, full-bodied flavour, smooth, malty character, and a hint of honey.
I'm excited for that hint of honey.
I'm excited as well. Vegan friendly, 4.8%. Right, let's crack this open.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing a lot of talking and not enough drinking today.
Yeah.
Let's rectify that.
It's really quite hard to open this one.
Yeah, the cap is on very well.
It's not just me, right?
No.
Just having a moment, like, am I struggling to open things?
I like that they're only 330ml as well. Sometimes you just want a little one.
It's just enough. Yeah, there's sometimes you just want one. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Ooh, it smells nice. Very cereally, much more sweet than the Augustiner.
I don't know if the sweetness registers as heavily to me. It's definitely sweet, but I wouldn't say that it smells sweeter to me.
I'm definitely getting that honey.
I was going to say the honey lands, but I don't know if it's landing in, like, necessarily like a sweeter way than the other one, but it's definitely honey. I tasted it, sorry. Ooh, that tastes very different.
It does. But not in a bad way.
Drastically different. No, not in a bad way. Just, I think my brain was expecting one thing and I got something very different.
Less carbonated.
Less dry as well. There's not really there's not really a dryness there.
There's like a... It's almost like a perceived sweetness, because it still feels... It's not as dry. It's not as making me want to go. Like, I do want to drink more of it, but the Augustiner makes me want to go back straight away and drink some more. There's a little bit of this kind of perceived sweetness in it. Not mad at it.
No, it's really interesting because I'm like trying to figure out the best way to phrase it. Because initially, I kind of almost wanted to say that there's almost a bit of like. It's not, because the more I've had sips of it, the more I'm like, it's not. But I almost instinctively wanted to say there was like a slight bit of almost tartness to it. And I don't...
Oh, I know what... I get what you're meaning by that. It's...
Yeah, I couldn't really explain it because I was like, it's not, but...
I feel like it's almost blossomy floral.
Yeah.
Like, when I think about it, like, it's making me think about a little bee whizzing around some flowers. Like maybe it's the flowers that were on the edge of the like malt, the field where the malt's being grown.
It feels very clean in the taste as well.
Yeah.
Like very, very clean taste.
Oh, I like it.
It's very different, but in a very also enjoyable way.
And like for a lager, I feel like it's complex. Like normally lagers are very simple. You're just like, yeah, this is what it tastes like. It's clean. I want to drink it. This, I'm like, I want to drink this, and I'm sitting thinking about it.
I would say that it is one of those things, though, that I'm trying to think of the best way to word it, because it is like there is almost a level of straightforward, no frills about it.
Yeah.
It is complex, but it is also I think it's almost so complex because it is just like a straightforward in terms of like taste, like tasting notes and everything about it, but it is so different and like interesting, really. And I feel like this would pair really well with like a meal, whereas I feel like the Augustiner, like that one is great with like snacks. Like you could sit there and have snacks and pick your food. I feel like you could sit down with a meal, and this would feel like a suitable accompaniment. I don't know if that makes sense how I've just said it. But.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So do you want to know some classic versions of the Helles that if you want to do a little Helles tasting of your own that you should probably get your hands on?
Oh yeah, sure do. I want to know how many of them that I've had.
Ooh. So this is just a little list that I made up a while ago. Spartan's Munich Helles, which is the OG.
The OG.
Paulaner Obs.
Had that. No contest there.
Hackabishaw's Munich Gold. Augustiner, which we just had. Lauenbrau's Original. Weihenstephaner's Original. Utopian's British Lager and their unfiltered lager are both Helles styles. Brew do a Helles lager.
Yeah, they do a barbecue Helles as well.
Oh, barbecue Helles is so good.
Chef's kiss.
So good. And then I've got a couple on the end here that are a bit RIP because I had Boutilia's Doki Doki. I enjoyed that Helles a lot.
I genuinely.
Yeah.
I love Doki Doki. I love the
Doki
label.
Doki. Yeah.
I love the name. I love the beer.
It was such good beer. And Wild Weather's Hath No Fury was a Helles that you could try.
I mean, I guess Wild Weather's not technically RIP. They're not technically RIP, I guess.
We'll see.
But I guess in its original form.
It's original form, yeah. RIP. It's original form. I think we'd be remiss doing lager episodes if we didn't include the UK lager breweries like Pillars, Utopian, Braybrook, New Barnes. They're like Lost and Grounded.
Can't forget
Lost and Grounded. Oh, I'll get in trouble if I forget Lost and Grounded.
I mean, I'd be shocked if you did, because that was like the first thing. So basically, they were like one of the first places that I think of when I think of. Well, obviously you've got like Braybrook is obvious, and like Donzoko.
Donzoko.
Like, me,
God, there's so many
Braybrook,
good ones. So many good ones.
Donzoko are like ones that pop into the brain first, obviously, and Utopian, and then it is very much like Lost and Grounded.
Obs.
Obviously.
Obs. Yeah. Love it. So we've got some good ones over here. Like, you could just do yourself. Like, this is what I like to do for like Oktoberfest time, is get myself a range of lagers, get some snacks, like put up some fun bunting, like put on some music and just like have at it.
I love a good theme, and like I have been like, let's have like a thematic. Let's have an Oktoberfest like thematic night. Yeah. But I have not gone as far as you've gone with like putting up bunting and stuff.
I had little bunting out.
The only reason I haven't done that is because I don't think I can get Rick fully on board. So
Gordon didn't have a choice.
Yeah, but I feel like I would do all that and Rick would be like, yeah, cool. And then I'd sit in the room by myself listening to pop music. I did
it in the living room. He had no escape. Oh, yes.
I'd be doing like pop punk covers by Oompa bands or something like that.
Amazing.
And that's probably what I would do, and I'd sit there by myself. eating pretzels and cheese dip
Yeah.
and bratwurst.
Yeah.
and having lagers. That's probably what I
Smoked
do.
cheese with a smoked Helles. Let's go.
Weird Al. Like poker music.
Love it.
That is what
Love
would
it.
happen, and it would
Yeah.
be a little bit sad, I think. But I would love to be like, cool, everyone come round. Like, I would love to do like an Oktoberfest like bottle share where everyone's like, okay, let's just all bring our favourite lagers and share them out.
I mean, technically, the beers of Oktoberfest were originally it was Marzen, and nowadays it's Fest beer. Don't get me started on those. You know how I feel about it.
We've talked about it before.
Yes.
Some of the ones that you mentioned in that list you just gave, we've definitely had on past Oktoberfest episodes.
Yeah. And
I think I've still got the bottles of some of them.
Yeah.
Somewhere about.
Don't get me started on Marzen because it's my absolute fave.
I was going to say I love Marzen, so.
If you give me a Marzen, it's actually a Fest beer. I'm going to be very upset with you. Very upset with you.
I think we've had the conversation about when you get a Fest beer and you're like, but what is it like? Because it's not always very no. You're like, this could go one of two ways.
It can go one of two ways because the words seem to be interchangeable, but the actual beer styles are not. They are different. Please create the right ones. Your excellent lager breweries will do that. Like,
I feel like we've had a conversation
Utopia,
where
Lost
we've
and
had
Grounded.
one thinking it was something, and then we're like,
I just get really sad. I get really sad.
Good. You're like, oh, it's good, but it's not the one.
It's not what I wanted. If I want a Marzen and I end up with a Fest beer, it makes me sad. Please don't do this to me, brewers.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Before we move on to the next one, I do just kind of want to go back to have a bit of the first one. Out of these two, which one is like more, like which one do you think you could drink more of?
The Augustiner, I could drink more of.
Weirdly, I was going to say, I might actually be able to drink more of the Pillars.
Oh,
because
really?
I think that it's probably potentially slightly less filling.
Oh,
for me.
Okay. I feel like
the just so good.
they're both brilliant. I think splitting hairs, but I think the Augustiner is just a touch cleaner.
So you've gone to Germany now?
I have been to Germany.
For sure. Have you gone to any of like the lager breweries? Have you toured around any of them? Because that's something that I'd love to do. Is like do a whole little.
No,
tour.
not yet. Possibly. Well, I mean, I've done some German breweries. I've not done any of the specific lager breweries yet. Any of the big ones. No, I've not done any of the big ones yet. Interestingly, so when our German colleagues came over the other week, and we took them for a brewery tour in Cambridge, which was excellent. We had a great time, and some of my German colleagues have just done their beer sommelier training. So it was interesting seeing them see a craft brewery, and then the brewer was talking about how they do the mash and how they do that, and one of my colleagues was like, so you only do it once? Because when we learnt about it, there's you do it at you do this, you do one mash and then you do a second one, and I'm like, that's a step mash. I was like, they're doing a single infusion, and he was like, oh, and it's like because they did it in Germany, the German brewing traditions, they learnt about the brewing. They learnt about they learnt about single infusion, but in Germany, obviously, they do a lot of step mashing. They do a lot of decoction still, which is where part of the mash is taken out and boiled and then added back in. So it adds more. It's believed that it can add more maltiness and more kind of caramel notes in. Stepped mashes. You tend to do less step mashes nowadays because it was a way of producing and being able to control the amount of sugars that you're getting out of your grains, depending on the type of beer that you're trying to make. It's still kind of a traditional technique that's used in Germany and things like that. But most brewers now just do a single infusion because our malting techniques are so much better. You've got more quality malts. You don't need to do because the steps you mash at different temperatures, and that activates different enzymes that you want for different types of beer. So though you can still do that because you can really dial in the type of beer that you're making. Most of our malts are better quality nowadays, so you don't need to do that. You can do a single infusion. Step mashing takes a lot longer. It's going to take a lot more energy.
It's interesting that your colleagues in Germany are like,
yeah, because they were like, oh, you don't do the 2 stages, and it was like, no, they do a single infusion because that and they'd learn about step mash. So I was then explaining the difference between a step mash and a single infusion. Yeah, it was interesting.
That is really interesting, because I don't think I'd ever. That's probably something that it makes sense why there would be that type of conversation happening, but I feel like it's something that you don't necessarily think of until you go, oh yeah, like you probably are used to seeing that. Literally they were like, oh, you only do and I was like, oh yeah, no, you're talking about this and he'll be doing this and this is why. And it was like, yeah, it's, Cicerone and Abyss Marlier got together having a conversation. And the brewer was like, mm-hmm. So the brewer's like, yes.
Yes.
I've made you this beer, please.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Well, I did pull up, before I get into it, we'll have the next beer, but I did pull up Untapped's list of top rated beers in the Helles variety.
Yeah,
so,
please tell us what they are.
The beer, we can go through that.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, I don't think I can do an option for UK as a whole. It is literally, I've got to do it all individually.
Oh, that's annoying. But that's fine.
Stay tuned. We're going to get the next beer out first, and then we'll run through Untapped's list of top ones. So
this is our variant version.
It is.
We have got times 10, which is a 100-day Helles from Tori's favourite, Siren. I feel like we haven't said that in ages.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think yeah.
Made for
I don't get so much shit anymore for that. I just get accused of liking other things now too much. If you're a champion and you really want to champion people that do like make good things, to do the right things, like just get prepared to have someone call you a fangirl or fanboy or fan person.
Okay, I'll be a fangirl.
Whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
So this was made as part of the Siren's 10th birthday. Exciting.
It sure was.
So interestingly, go back, if you didn't listen to our Czech Pils episode, go back and listen to that, because I've got sad news for you about SARS. This uses Mittelfrüh, Saphir and Czech SARS hops. Mittelfrüh is also one of the hops that is struggling with climate change.
Literally,
SARS. Dun dun dun.
I need some espresso for this depresso, because it's like we were on an upward climb, and then you were like, remember that time when I talked about doom and gloom about SARS? I'm gonna talk about it again. Mittelfrüh is also struggling because it's an older hop. It's not doing well with climate change, so. But it's okay, because we're working on it. We're finding replacements. Don't panic. You say don't panic, but if anyone listens to the last episode, it was definitely like, don't panic, but like also panic.
But also drink all the SARS hopped beers now while you can.
You're like, I'm not saying panic. I'm just saying maybe don't not panic.
Climate change is real, yo. Like, don't let anybody fool you. Climate change is real. It's affecting your beers.
That is like the building's on fire, yeah. And you're like, but guys, please don't push and shove. We'll all get out of the building. Just please form an orderly queue. Stay calm. We'll all get out eventually.
Like, do the little things that you can to help climate change. It is affecting your beers. Just saying.
Absolutely. Like, if you want, spoiler alert, if you want SARS, come on, guys.
Turn your lights off.
I've got an appropriate glass for this one as well.
Oh, have you? Oh, you've
got
nice.
Last year's Craft Theory glass.
And that is
Siren on it.
That is a Willy Betcher, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a fancy.
No, but it's like but that's right. That's not.
I was going to say, this was just a
classic.
mini version. So this was just a half pint version.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah. It's fun. It's got hops. It's got records.
Nice.
It's everything you want in a glass.
I'm excited to try this because it was allowed to lager for 100 days.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, that was kind of, when we originally got it, that was part of, like, that came out for the 10th birthday. There was a few things that you were like, oh, I'm thinking of getting this, I'm thinking of getting that. And I was like, I kind of want to try that. We could just do, you know, for one of the lager episodes, we were already talking about doing a lager episode. We're like, oh, for one of the lager episodes, we could just do that as well. So that is, I think, how that sort of, this beer sort of pointed us in the direction to, like, yeah, let's actually do this lager series, because now we've got a few different kinds we can do. So.
Spoiler, I'd completely forgotten about that, and I nearly drank it at the weekend, so it's a good job I didn't.
Bruh.
I was having a good old sort out of my beer inventory.
Say to you is just, bruh.
Could you imagine?
There's so many other things that you could drink. To be fair,
I
when
did.
You do a sort out, I guess the difference is, like, the vast range of what I've got and the best before dates of what I've got, and, like, you know, hops fading fast and all that, compared to other styles. I probably have far more things that I'm like, I have to drink these.
Yeah.
You do.
Than I do.
Probably a lot more shelf sustainable, long life.
Lots of darks, lots of sours. Like, mine are less problematic.
Whereas I've got all those, and then I don't end up drinking the tops. I'm like, oh, those ones will last so much longer. Forget those, and then I build up such a collection. It's embarrassing. Someone have a bottle share with me. I need to get some of them out.
I literally had this conversation at the weekend with Gordon, because he was just like, you need to, like, do, like, a share and drink some of these big bottles. I'm like, I know, dude, but I just don't have the time. I'm aware. Definitely didn't just buy another one to add to it.
I may have gotten shipping confirmation.
Yeah,
for
same.
I got. It's the same one.
Yeah,
we bought the same one.
We bought the same one, and we bought two of them.
We're not going to say what it is.
No, you'll find out.
Let's crack this.
Make sure you continue to listen. You'll find out what that bottle was.
Oh, don't. Let's hide our shame.
It's not a shame. It's going to be a good beer. I'm excited for it.
It's just the right amount of beer.
Always.
Oh,
my glass is dirty today.
The head pours pretty well on this.
Mine's got a lovely head.
It's the right coloration. It's the right level of, like, clarity.
Yeah. Smells different. Mine does.
Yeah, but I think it smells more similar
to the Augustiner.
Yeah. Than the Pillows did.
Yeah. It's more. I think this is more floral.
It's less. Definitely has less of that, like, sweetness to it.
Yeah.
And that, like, the maltiness is a little bit more subdued in comparison in terms of aroma.
Yes.
But I would say it's probably, if we were doing, like, a stepping from, like, ends of a spectrum, it would be like Pillars. This would be in the middle, and then the Augustiner.
Yeah, 100%. So it's described on the can as the Mittelfrüh, Saphir and Czech Pils hops offer fresh, floral, herbal and subtle citrus flavours, complementing the base of cracker-like malts, which offer just a hint of sweetness, crisp, refreshing and perfectly balanced. So this one's a bit more crackery than bready.
It does smell crackery.
Yeah, so I
will actually admit it does smell like crackers. I
always kind of, when I smell and taste the difference between, like, a bready beer and a crackery beer, like, a crackery beer is always kind of slightly lighter, maybe even a bit more, like, doughy, like uncooked dough typeness.
And I think, to me, anyways, it's almost less. Is pungent the word that I want to use?
Yeah.
I think pungent's the word I wanted to use there. It's almost less pungent than when I feel like when it's bready and cereally.
Yeah.
That's almost a more aggressive smell, whereas, like, crackery feels like it's a lighter type of smell. So it's a little bit more subtle and less, like, obvious on the nose. But then there's been some times where I think people have gone, oh, this smells crackery, and I've smelled it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. This one, I feel very much is like, someone says crackery, and I'm like, immediately yes.
Alright, I'm tasting it.
Taste. That's really interesting. There's like a florally element to that.
Yeah.
I thought initially, the first sip, I was going, I was almost worried it was going to get really bitter, and then it didn't.
Same. Like, I feel like there's more bitterness in this than the other two, but it's not huge. It is that kind of rounded bitterness.
But it was almost like the immediate taste, the very front of that sip, was a bitterness that immediately sort of was balanced out by this crispness and a florally note to it and a maltiness that I was like, cool. It is, like you said, very well rounded. I was worried on the first touch of bitterness, and I was like, oh no, this is going to get really bitter really quick, isn't it? Because
Same.
that's how sharp that bitterness was, and then I was like, oh no, it's not. This is really good.
It's okay. Don't panic.
Yeah, I quite like this one, actually.
I like it. I like it for different reasons than I like the other two.
Agree.
I prefer my beers slightly breadier. Like my lager slightly breadier. It's good though. I feel like this one is very clean.
I was going to say, this is a super clean one. And I feel
it's a
like...
super crispy boy.
Super crispy, yeah, and I feel like this is one that would go exceptionally well with sunshine and snacks.
Yeah.
The two S's, sunshine and snacks. The cracker quality. It's less bready, more crackery for sure.
Because a cracker just has, like, if you're like cracker versus like bread, cracker has less, comparatively has less flavour, let's say, than bread, and that's what you're getting in these beers.
I just think of saltine crackers, which you don't really have.
We don't have over there.
And I would say this is not really like salty, but it has that same like moreish element that a saltine cracker has, where you're like
simple.
Oh, just have another one. It's simple but effective. But I actually think that there's quite a really good balance of there's quite a few different flavours happening here, like from the floral element to the crackeriness to that slight shot like bitterness at the start. But it's all really well balanced out, so I feel it translates a lot more simple than it actually is. It is like so not offensive. I feel like you could give this to so many different people.
Oh yeah.
And they would enjoy it. Whereas I think some of the others, it would be like, if you like that style, that's great. But I feel like I could give this to somebody that is maybe not a traditional beer drinker in that like someone that likes beer, but they are more like I drink these type of lagers, like standard lagers. I feel like you'd give them this.
Yeah.
If this was in your fridge, and they would go, yeah, right, okay, that's right. Whereas like, they can be specific if there's too many of certain flavours in the mix. They go, I don't like it. Whereas this, I feel like
because
has a lot there, but translates quite good for everyone.
Your regular lager though, like regular lager air quotes, macro lager air quotes, like.
I was getting away with not saying macro lager.
I'm saying it.
Like, you know what I'm saying.
I said what I said. I said what I said. Macro lager. Those are as tasteless as possible, because they are going for the like simplest flavours to cover the most amount of people. Like they
basically,
do.
The way the marketing goes is you need, if there's one person that says I don't like this, and 3 people that go, it's the best thing I've ever had, they go, I'd rather meet in the middle, so that one person that hates it
likes it as well,
even if it means that everyone all of a sudden goes, I feel so about it. That's just the nature of how these things work. And I feel like with this one, no, you're right, that's exactly spot on. And I feel like with this one, there's no specific flavour that is so much more aggressive than anything else. It's all very well balanced and very well, like, no frills, but also still interesting. That I think that there's nothing that I think would be off-putting. There's no particular flavour that I think would be off-putting to someone.
That also means that this is a very well-made beer, because it's so simple that they've had to make it really well for it to work really well.
And I feel like you could pair this with so many different things.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that is so overpowering of one thing over another that it would create an imbalance over anything that you're eating with it, for example. Like, it just feels, quite like this. I was a bit surprised because I wasn't sure how I was gonna handle like an aged, the aged lager. Like, I kind of thought like it could go really strong and aggressive in certain flavours, and then, like I said, that first bit of bitterness, I was like, oh no, that's it, it's done. It's really lovely. I really like this one.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, it's not aged, it's been conditioned for 100 days. So that's the difference. Like, if you're not sure what the difference is, so like aging tends to be like when we think of aging, it's like it might have been put in a barrel, it might have been put in something else, like it might have been packaged and then sat there for a length of time, which, once it's packaged, it is going to start, like, all beer deteriorates over time, like it just does. It does age. Whereas this has been conditioned, so that means that, it was fermented and then it was lagered for that amount of time before it was packaged. So it's a different process, and that, like, the longer you lager it, the, like, cleaner it's going to be, the more, like, the better it's going to be for a lager. Like,
I think it's just, you see the 100 days and you just go, oh, this could, like, how is this gonna turn out? And I wasn't sure what to expect from it, and I think it's lovely.
I mean, traditional German lagers, like back in the day, were left in caves for a long amount of time. Like, they realised, because they didn't have refrigeration, they realised that they couldn't really brew in the summer because it spoiled too quickly, or, it ended up with bacteria in it that they couldn't control. So they would brew for a certain period of time where it was cooler, and then they would store it. So this is where, like, your beers like your box would come about, because that higher ABV meant that they would last longer. And then you do them in, they'd brew them and then they'd leave them, and then that's when you end up drinking them in October, because they're the ones that have lasted the longest before you start getting back into that cycle of brewing again. Like, seasonality in beers is, when you really look back at beer history, just like with food, just like with farming, like, seasonality in beer, it's a food product. So it had seasonality just like every other food product did.
If you think about it in that sense as well, it's like without modern technology, you probably had limitations on what you could and couldn't do, and what weather would allow in certain times of year. So it's not like they just had, some of the tech that we have to allow things to be kept at certain temperatures consistently. And it makes total sense. Or to be able to have, like, a greenhouse that's going to grow a certain thing, like a temperature controlled place that can grow something that maybe is typically a seasonal only thing. So it makes complete and total sense. Should I give you the top list on Untapped?
Tell us the top rated lagers on Untapped.
So I have filtered by Helles style lagers.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you, like, I can't do a UK breakdown overall, so maybe I'll do England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, we'll see. So do you want top 10, top 15, top 20?
Top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Cool. So, your top one with 3.84 stars.
Oh, only 3.84? That feels low.
It feels really low, doesn't it? And this was one that was added in 2021.
Okay, so it's like, fairly new.
Really interesting. Well, yes, but also it is a few years old.
Oh, we're in 2023 now.
Yeah. Halfway through 2023. I feel like that's pretty new. And I was like, yes, but
is
also not, like, in terms of lagering, like, overall, yes, it is very new. In terms of, like, the current year, it is not very new. That is Smodbra, which is St. Mars the Desert. That's theirs. That's 4.8% one. That was added in 2021. There's 292 ratings on that. The next one is also a Smod beer.
Nice.
152 ratings. That was added in 2023. That one is actually...
Good job, Smod.
As March 2023, that one was added. And that is Damarong. I don't think I've pronounced that right, but I think that I would struggle to pronounce that. And I didn't
No.
get this one, so that's what you get. So that's a 4.8%. What I find, we'll debrief after, but the third one is for another one from 2021. That is 3.74 stars.
Right.
4.8%. That is Track Brewing Co.'s Moxie.
Okay.
The fourth one was added in 2022, 3.73 stars. That is a 6.2% from Wild Child Brewing Co. That's K Citra.
Oh, that's a Helles lager.
So
I assume it was.
Supposedly, that's what it says on
I
Untappd.
feel like that was hopped with Citra. Maybe.
I'm gonna hazard a guess it was probably hopped with Citra. But there you go, that's number 4 on the top ones, which I find interesting.
This is an interesting list.
Yeah. And no, don't hold off your comments on these.
Okay.
Number 5 is from originally put on here in 2021, and that's Verdant's Helles Lager.
Okay.
That's a 3.73 star, 4.8%. You've then got number 6, which is Brew. I'm gonna guess it's their collaboration with Clapton, because it's called Clapton Helles, and it's got a beer on the label. That was from 2020.
That's number 6.
3.7 stars. Yeah, number 6.
Okay.
Yes. 4.5%.
Okay.
Then you've got from 2022. You've got Duration Brewing Co.'s Too Much Crispy. I fucking love that name. Too Much Crispy.
Oh, I love Duration.
5%. 5%. You have from 2022 at number 8, Sure Shot's Mainstream Death Metal. That's 4.8%.
Okay.
Number 9 is Braybrooke's Helles, just their straight Helles. So that's obviously originally from 2022. That's 3.69. And it's 4.2% one. And then the last one, which I have had, and it was good. Had it for a D&D session because it felt, I don't know, thematically the right thing to have. It was Siren's Moonlight Beams. That was added in 2020. It was a 3.69. So yeah, it was an Imperial Lager, so 7.4%. And so it just, I don't know, it felt like the right thing to have for a D&D.
Yeah.
I try to go with like things that's like D&D. It feels more traditional. So that's what I had. I had it during that session. So yeah, that was number 10. That's for England.
Okay.
I found it really interesting. Before I move on to Scotland, I found it really interesting that there was no, like, Don Soko.
No Don Soko, no Pillars, no Utopian.
There was no
Lost and Grounded. Interesting. This is the fickle hand of Untappd, people.
So Braybrook's obviously there. Yeah, this just demonstrates the fickle hand. So you got 1, 2... so Mirakai came in at 16 with How's Your Head Hun, which was excellent. Like,
that was
a
good lager.
really like that one. So shout that one out. So that's
good
number 16.
job, guys.
Yonder had 21, which is like, you don't associate Yonder.
I don't associate Yonder
with
that.
That's their sundial. No, not at all.
Interesting.
Number 24 is Staggeringly Goods.
Okay.
And number 25 is Pomona Island.
Okay.
We've hit 30 now. None of
Still
them.
no Pillars, no...
None.
No of the others. Wow, that's interesting.
I found that really interesting. Oh, so in the 30s, between 30 and 40, you do have times 10. That's rated 3.62 on Untappd.
I feel like 3.62
so I
is
found that really interesting. So
bit harsh.
Yeah, well, Untappd.
Yeah.
So
people bought it and went, I don't like lager. 1 star.
Probably. Or they went, not what I was expecting.
What about Scotland?
I'm just filtering. I'm filtering to Scotland now. So your top one is 3.74, added in 2022. It's New Barnes Brewery.
Hey! There we go. There we go.
Number 2 again is New Barnes.
Good job, New Barnes.
Scotch and that is a 5.2%. Also released in 2022. Do you want to guess who number 3 is?
Is it New Barnes?
Oh, it's New Barnes with Hannah. 5.5%, released in 2021. Any guesses for number 4?
New Barnes.
New Barnes!
Wait, good job, New Barnes.
Landrace, that's 4.6%.
Nice.
That was released 2023. Number 5 is again New Barnes.
Wow, good job, New Barnes.
That is Iseria, that's 5%, 2022. Number 6 is Overtone.
Hey, there we go.
With Munich, which is 2022, 4.7%. So this is interesting because I didn't know this, so I've learned this now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going, oh, we haven't seen Donzoko, we haven't seen any of this. I guess
they're
Donzoko is Scotland. I didn't realise that because number 7 is Donzoko, in Northern Helles. And that was from 2017. That's a 4.2%, 3.64 stars. So that's interesting. So I did not realise that they were from Scotland. So. Yeah, number 8. We're back to New Barnes.
Amazing.
With one of theirs that was released in 2021, 5.5%, 3.64 stars. Weirdly, number 9. So that was number 8. Number 9 is an Innocent Gun, unpasteurised lager beer, brewery fresh.
Good job,
That was from
Innocent
2016.
I mean, I was waiting. I was waiting for Tenants to end up in there.
No
Tenants.
And
Good job.
Number 10 is Harveston Brewery, 2014. Just under that, to be fair, number 11 was Fierce.
Yay, good job, Fierce.
Scrolling through, it's like Cromities there at one point, further down. Fine Ales is there further down. But yeah, there you go.
Nice.
That's the Scotland. I'm googling Donzoko Brewery now because I'm like, what?
I thought it was just northern. I mean, they're very northern if they're Scottish.
They are very northern. Let us see. We're googling now. Literally. So okay, breaking news. When I've looked on here, it's exactly more or less what I thought. Which it looks like from the Google searches, Hartlepool.
It's not Scotland.
Which I know is very northern.
Yeah.
Very northern. Close, but not quite Scotland.
That's not Scotland. Okay. I don't feel so much of a fool now.
No, hold on, it says that. But no, time out. But for some reason, I see websites saying Newcastle and Hartlepool, and then on Untapped they're listed as Leith. So I wonder if at some point they moved from Scotland. Maybe. And then on Untapped it was never changed. So let us know because I'm curious.
Yeah. Interesting.
There you go. Right. Shall we have our final one?
Let's have our final one. This is the hotness. Did you guess, listeners, where the hotness was from? Did you guess? We're going to find out.
You'll find out in a minute.
So. The hotness. Verdant Helles. What number did it come in that chart? 8.
I don't know, it was like
7 or 8.
I can tell you in a second. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay,
number 5. 5th top rated Helles on Untapped for England people.
That was obviously added in 2021, so they've done it they've done numerous runs on it, and this is not the 2021 batch, so have no fear. We're not drinking a beer made in 2021.
This is a new one. I like that on the label it says Helles, bright, light or pale lager. I'm
interested to try this because I think we tried it because we thought it'd be a bit interesting, because I feel like everyone knows Verdant for what they typically tend to make.
Yeah.
I definitely don't associate lagers with Verdant.
No.
Or Verdant, however you choose to say it. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how this hotness has pulled it off. Is it as good as any of these others?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Let's find out.
Let's see.
Right away, I mean, definitely pours with a generous head.
Yeah, mine's got a nice head. It's much paler than all the others.
I think it's a bit hazier as well.
And it is slightly hazy, yeah.
I'm not saying it is like a hazy beer, but it is definitely hazier.
It's
like
not bright. It's you know, got a touch haze to it. Ooh.
Conflicts with their label.
It does. It does.
I'm just kidding. I feel like I don't want to say that because I feel like you'll have people that are like, you're just saying it because you want to hate on it. I'm just kidding. I don't want to hate on it. I want it to be good. I don't want to have to drink something I don't want.
I feel like the aroma's very light.
I actually feel it's very similar in aroma to the Siren. Slightly less crackery.
Oh yeah, I get that. Smelling too.
It's kind of hard to tell to a degree as well if it's just the head that's blocking it, because this one is definitely a very persistent head.
Yeah, it's got a nice rocky head on there.
I actually think it is a similar, so it's slightly less crackery but it's still crackery, and I feel like it
slightly
just
floral.
for me is very similar to Siren's.
I feel like I get a little bit of that like lemoniness from it as well.
Yeah. Should we have a sip?
Let's.
It feels really dry finish. It's really dried my mouth out, but not in an unpleasant way.
I feel like it's like the Siren one where it feels like it's going to have a lot of bitterness and then it doesn't.
It feels like almost, I'm going to say this, it almost feels like some type of hybrid between the Pillars and the Siren one.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, it's good. I enjoy it.
It's a well-made lager.
Thumbs down. In a thumbs up, thumbs down situation, I thumbs up it. Like, I don't dislike it.
It's a well-made lager. I feel like we've gone, like, so from the Siren one we were saying it was very simple, like very clean. I feel like the Verdant one is very clean.
Very clean.
Like super crispy.
I think it
very,
left
very
my
simple.
mouth the most dry.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like arguably it also might be the most sessionable out of all of them.
Yeah, I suppose so.
In the sense of like, it is, there's no big bold flavours that you can go there's too much of this.
Yeah.
Like I've had too much of this flavour.
Yeah.
I feel like you could carry on drinking this with snacks, having conversation a lot easier than maybe, I mean, I think all of them you could session fairly well, but I feel like out of all of them, this one is the most straightforward. It's probably very well made, has the least complexities in the terms of the flavours, and that's not an insult.
No.
It is just a very sessionable, straightforward, very easy drinking. You're socialising. I actually think that arguably, if we're talking about drinking in large quantities, it's probably the one that you can drink in the most large quantities while socialising, because you're not having an innovation in any particular flavour. Yeah, you don't have to think about it. It's really, really easy to drink without going, oh, hang on, this has happened there. And I think sometimes there's something to be said for that, and there's like a real great quality in something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think some people will take that as like that's a backhanded compliment. It's like, it's not at all. It's very well made.
Yeah.
And it is easy to drink.
Like, lagers are simple, generally. Like, this is why people say that lagers are really difficult to make, because there isn't anywhere to hide. Like, you've not got a massive whack of hops, you've not got, you know, the fruitiness or whatever, or the spiciness coming from yeast. It is the malts and the that clean crispness. There is nowhere to hide in a lager. Like, that's so, like, people say that all the time. You're gonna notice it so easily. Like, everyone always says, oh, there's nowhere to hide in a lager. There isn't anywhere to hide in a lager. And if you're a brewery that can make a decent lager, then you've got good brewers, because it's not easy to make a good lager. Like, they're simple, but you've got to do them well.
There's almost more like I feel like there's almost more of that bready maltiness in this than there was in the Siren and the Pillars one for me.
Let me see.
The more sips I take, the more I'm like, I've noticed a lot more breadiness in this than I have my initial sip.
I'm doing the rounds.
Doing the rounds. Yeah, I kind of want to know what's going to happen when I drink the other ones now. It's funny how even like the smell can change on them once you've been drinking one versus another.
The others are warmer now as well, whereas this is straight out the fridge, so it's going to dull some of that. I don't know. I still kind of get bread. I get dough and cracker from this one. I like me a bit of complex malt flavour, so it's not my fave, but
sweet. I get a little bit more sweet.
Sweetness
and malt, like the sweetness, breadiness, maltiness than I get with the Pillars and the Siren.
Mm.
I think it's probably. I'm not saying like a lot more.
Yeah.
But I think there is just a little touch more there in terms of that, but less complexities maybe than the other two.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. Like I said, in a way that I could sit there and I could drink this quite happily for a good few. Like if that was what was
on offer
on tap and that was what somebody was giving me, it's like I wouldn't even. I'd be like, great, excellent. It will pair well with snacks. It pairs well with just good conversation.
Yeah.
Easy drinking, easy thinking.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Admittedly, I'm impressed with it because I was thinking like, how far different is this going to be?
It's not really. I'd like it to be a darker colour.
Yeah, well, if we're talking in terms of like
splitting hairs,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, to be fair, she says pulling them back up again.
Well,
the colour.
You're gonna actually.
Yourself. Well, no. So the appearance is medium yellow to pale gold. I would say that this is like lemon yellow. I'd say this is pale yellow. So I think it is outside the style guidelines for that. It is a touch. I think it's clearing up a bit now. But it's definitely got a touch of haze to it more than the other three have, which are pin bright. Like there's something in suspension in there. Not necessarily a bad thing. Might well be the hops. But it's like you know, if you blind tested that against the others, you'd be like, oh, that one stands out. Doesn't mean it tastes worse for it. Just,
I think if you're looking at it from a style guidelines point of view, I get that. For me, I just go thumbs up, thumbs down. Do I like it? Do I enjoy drinking it? Absolutely.
And that's the thing.
I enjoy drinking it. I would have it again.
If this isn't in a competition, it doesn't really matter because brewers are gonna brew, man. They're gonna brew what they. They're gonna brew what they want to brew. So you know, is it tasty? Is it tasty? Do you like it?
Yes. Yes, on both accounts actually.
There you go. There you go. Right. If you had to, which is your favourite? Ooh.
Alright, can I go like once round?
Yeah,
again?
go on, do a speed round. I mean, don't speed round it, you know what I mean. Responsible drinking and all that.
It's hard because I'm tainted by, like you said, this one's cold and the other ones are a bit warmer now.
Yeah.
I would actually say my favourites might be either the Verdant or the Augustiner.
Ooh.
But it's really hard because it is, like you said before, it's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
They're all really good.
They're all really good.
All different.
Yeah.
So it's very much like, I guess it depends on what the mood I'm in and the atmosphere I'm in and what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to have a meal? Am I having like food? Am I just having drinks? But I do think for me, the pure Augustiner is like always a classic, always love it.
Yeah.
And the Verdant is just absolutely crushable. It's so easy. My mush brain today, it's so easy.
See, I'm a Pillars girl. I'm loving the complexity of flavour in that. That's me. I like being able to pick apart things. That's what I want to be able to do. So that's my.
I think that's the difference as well. It's like I think when it goes to like complexity, I don't.
Different situations. as
my
well.
brain just also doesn't naturally go
Yeah.
to like lagers as being the complexity, and it's like these are really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
really, like the Siren and the Pillars, they're really interesting because they have that complexity to it, while also still managing to have this like clean, straightforward taste to them as well. And,
Yeah.
like, there's no frills part about them. But I think just my brain is, I'm like, if I want to drink a lot of them and I just want to sit and session them, which is what my brain wants to do now. I've done too much math today and I'm bad at math. Those are my bays.
Yeah, yeah. There is a Helles for everyone. Go and
Helles,
try. Helles, yeah. Go and try all the different Helles. Like, go out and try them all and enjoy it. Like, have a little evening with your friends with a different range of them and try them all out. Like, I think as well as craft beer people.
Fun.
Yeah, it's super fun, right? Get some pretzels in, get some cheese
Go to
dip.
Costco. I'm going to plan the night for you. You go to Costco, you get the jumbo effing tub of sourdough pretzels that are out right now.
Ooh.
You don't have to get the peanut butter ones. The peanut butter ones are like, they're great. They're not probably going to pair so good with these, so
yeah.
like, it's fine, don't worry about that. But there is jumbo hard sourdough pretzels. Get some of those bad boys. That's number one. Number two, go to your local Co-op, Lidl, Aldi, wherever you shop. They probably have a bakery section. You go in, you get the soft pretzels, or you make them. But sometimes you want to be lazy, so you just
I've got a really good soft pretzel recipe that I got from our friend Carrie. It's the best. It's the best.
I made them. It's just
they're good, right?
So many steps where they're like you have to like boil them and then do this and then do that, and I'm like, oh.
But they're so good. They're so good.
Sometimes I just want to have the pretzel,
well,
so I'm
okay,
like,
lazy.
I'm just gonna go to Lidl and get the already made.
It's not. I mean,
pretzel.
I'm not a bougie over here. They do really good ones in M&S. I'm just saying.
All right, okay, Bougerino over there.
It's because there used to be an M&S by my old office. There was literally an M&S across the road, so I could go get pretzel. That was great.
But I can walk to Lidl in 5 minutes, and their pretzels are freshly made and they're very good. So I have that, and then you make a cheese dip.
Ugh, cheese dip. Beer cheese dip. Beer cheese dip. Yes.
Yes, so good. You do all that, and then maybe it's an international week at Lidl, and you get yourself some bratwursts.
Yeah.
Throw those on there. Maybe you
get some smoked cheese.
You cut those up, then you can dip those in the cheese as well. With your little... Oh, there you go, we planned your night.
There you go, enjoy. You'll have a great time. If you are not sure how you want to plan this, I've got an Etsy shop and it's got a beer tasting party in it. I've also got a blind beer tasting party kit in there. I'm just going to pop that in there.
If you don't know how you're going to plan it, I was like, I'll plan it for you.
Yeah,
And then you're like, if you need... And I was like, let Joe plan it for you.
If you need a bit more help, I've got a whole kit that will help you with that. So, you can find that at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, which we're segueing into quite nicely here. I'm going to go first this time. Normally I go last. You can find me at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Pinterest. I'm not on Threads yet. Should we be on Threads? I'm scared. I'm not touching Threads.
Fully understand Threads.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm on too many social media platforms. It is. I'm boycotting.
I know that I'm only 24 years old. Myself personally, I'm very young, but I don't.
I'm boycotting that. So
I'm not even boycotting it. I just don't know.
just haven't started it.
I'm too young. I don't know.
I'm an Instagram girl. Okay, if you want to find me, come find me at Instagram, or you can come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Or you can email me, lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. If you want that pretzel recipe, email me. I will share it with you. It's not mine, but I will share it with you.
I think I've had it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
I've had your beer cheese dip.
I think I sent you some. That was just Pinterest. I just found those on Pinterest. It's great. And if you go to Love Beer Learning, you will find my Etsy store and my printables, and they will help you plan your weekend. Tori, if people want to tell you where you can find better pretzels than the ones in Lidl, where can they get hold of you?
Literally, get out, you're wrong. So it's fine. Like, I see them in the oven, baked in front of me. Like, you don't see that in M&S. They could be baking them anywhere.
I don't care, because they're good.
Bakegate. Those could be made anywhere. Then
Bakegate.
at least I know Lidl's making them in front of me.
Wow.
So I said what I said.
She did.
So yeah, if you want to come talk to me about theme, I just love a theme. So if you want to talk to me about any type of lager theme, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism, or you can reach out to us both, and depends on who's got the reception, but it's usually sometimes me most of the time. So that is a Women's Brew on Instagram, or a Women's Brew podcast at gmail.com. If there's anyone you want us to talk to, or you want to talk to us, or you want to come on an episode, email us, get in touch, and we will do our best to accommodate, because we like to just accommodate everyone.
Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know if you want to come talk to us. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to anybody, generally.
We've got the lager series ongoing at the moment, and if there's any other series you want us to deep dive into, I'm sure we can.
Yeah, let us know. And if you see us at a festival, because we are in the midst of festival season right now, come up and say hi. We're really friendly. We like saying hi to people.
Don't advertise I'm friendly. I like to pretend I'm not friendly.
No, she is. Don't tell her that she's a beer goddess, though, because she gets really upset about that.
I don't know how to handle compliments. I'm like, why can't you all be mean to me? Be mean to me.
On that note, we got a lot of lagers to go finish, so we're going to go do that. So, cheers.
Cheers.